So he used to pull these funny faces where he kind of put his chin back into his chest. Like this, and he'd go. So if you're watching on YouTube, he'd go like this. And he pulled his weirdest smile with
That
his
wasn't the
chin
face.
in his chest.
The face was this. It was... That was the face.
Hey, I'm And.
And I'm Bec.
And we are the Gold Diggers, because we believe there's gold found in everyone.
Everyone is unique, interesting and exciting with a great story to share.
And we aim to find it.
The question is, can we rise to the challenge and strike gold? Stay tuned to find out as we chat to today's mystery guest.
Honey, you're my sugar.
So the podcast is going to be a little bit different today. We've got our two eldest children in the studio with us today, Dara and Cartia. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
You say eldest.
Yes.
Well, I only have one. So I've got the eldest, the middle child and the youngest all in one.
When I bring my
trifecta.
youngest in, Dara can come as well.
So the idea of today's podcast is that we're actually going to be in the spotlight, Bec and I.
A little bit nervous, Ange.
Because we've given them the opportunity to ask the mums anything.
That's right.
And we have no idea what they're going to say.
It is a little bit nerve-wracking, but before we delve into that, I just want to introduce Cartia and Dara to our audience. So Cartia is my eldest, and Cartia is married to Shane, and you've been married for just over a year now, haven't you?
Yeah. as
Would
of
you like
November.
to tell our audience a bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I've been married for just over a year, which is really exciting. So we celebrated our first wedding anniversary last month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm also a teacher. So I've done about 7 or 8 years of study at uni to become a teacher. I did my Bachelor of Arts and then my honours and then my Masters of Teaching. So it's been a long journey, but yeah, now I'm a teacher teaching disenfranchised kids. So
Well, that's perseverance for you there, to be in education for that long. Well done.
yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, straight out of high school, but yeah, it was.
How old are you now?
I'm 26.
26,
Yeah. So it's been a long journey.
And living
but
out of
it's good.
home since you got married, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So just over a year of living out of home, which is strange.
Yeah, that's taken a bit of getting used to,
It
hasn't
has.
it?
Big adjustment, yeah, but I
Who
love
more
it.
for?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, probably.
I've lost my
yeah.
kitchen dancing partner. Our goofy dancing partner.
I'm probably the person that washes up and clears up as
Yeah,
well.
she was great. But Carti has married a super lovely man, and we
Yeah.
just love Shane like he's our own
Yeah,
son.
he's
So
the best.
very blessed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blessed with both of our
And a
in-law
beautiful
children.
wedding, because
Yeah.
we were at the wedding as
Yeah.
well. So
Yes, that was a big
you.
wedding year, that one.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And Dara,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am 20.
Yes.
I just graduated on the 11th of December with a Bachelor of Music.
Awesome.
Been studying for 3 years. And I plan to go to America next year to pursue performing a bit more. They're going to Nashville. But currently I am teaching instrumental music at a school in Brisbane.
That's awesome. What a great achievement, finishing your degree now, and you've just graduated. That's huge, isn't it?
It was
It
kind
feels
of an
like-
amazing moment. I guess you guys have experienced it as well. After so long of kind of dreaming about doing this course, getting into the conservatorium, then the whole 3 years, it seems to go by in such a flash. And then suddenly you're walking down that red carpet and you're receiving your certificate. For us as your parents, it was just the most emotional moment.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, you did it. You know, you had so many setbacks and things to overcome in that journey.
Yeah.
It's such a great achievement. It's a great moment, isn't it? Graduation.
Massive milestone.
Yeah.
Yes, and worth every celebration. Well
For the
done.
whole family, really, because it's a
Yeah.
family effort, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now it's time. Let's get into Ask Mum Anything.
Honey, you're my sugar.
Oh, look, they've got the phones out. They've got the phones out. You've got a whole list of questions
ready.
to think, what would you actually want to
Cartia
ask
prepped.
us? So who's going to go first?
I'll go first. Out of all your children, who's your favourite?
My dogs.
Checks
I
out.
was not expecting that.
Which dog?
Oh, I would say Archie, but because he's the sweetest,
But he eats
loveliest
poo,
dog.
though.
But he eats poo.
Oh.
It's about dogs when they eat poo. Like,
Actually, I heard there was a name for that condition on a shower.
yeah,
head.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of gets off the tick list.
Yeah. I have 4 favourites, so, you know.
It's really difficult for a parent to choose.
Yeah,
I was trying.
But Beck, if you had to choose though,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really good question, Dara.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are really
if
pushing
you
me on
really had
this.
to choose,
I have 4 favourites. But
Plus the
funny thing
in-laws.
is, Cartia
Is your
attacked my
favourite? Okay.
phone. She attacked my phone once and put her name as Cartia, the favourite child.
Yeah.
And anyway, I don't really change names on my phone. And every year, Cartia's like, "You still haven't changed it. I must be
Yeah.
your favourite." But no, I have 4 favourites, definitely.
Okay, which one's most like you, though?
Most like me. Cartia's definitely most like me.
Yeah.
She
We've
looks
got-
a lot like you. Like, yeah.
We've got very similar mannerisms
Yeah.
and things like that.
We laugh
so-
the same too, which is really funny.
Yeah.
And then we laugh at each other for
Yeah.
laughing
And
at
it
the
keeps
same
going.
way. Yeah. And we're really good at doing goofy dances in the kitchen and when no one's looking. Yeah.
That's a nice thing of us, isn't it?
what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay, next question. Come on, fire away.
I'll do the next one. Let me confer to my notes. Okay.
I know I'm nervous. He's smiling away, which means
Because we're at
Um,
that point where he knows what the question is and you
And
can
I
see it in
don't.
his eyes.
I'm
but we don't.
thanking Cartia for a lot of these questions
You're welcome.
because these are gold. What's the most embarrassing thing I did as a child that you've never told me about?
I don't know. Like, you just were constantly embarrassing.
Well, then go on then. You should have
Yeah.
a lot of stories.
So, like, I would be at the checkout, for instance, and I'm zapping all the food through, and I'd look and think, "Where's Dara? Where's Dara?" And I'd look over, and he stood kind of at the end of the checkout, just kind of doing these goofy dances, like completely on his own with no one else around. I'm thinking, what is this kid doing?
He's a musician. He had
No.
the
But he
music
just
in him.
like he was just expressing himself in the way that he wanted. And then every now and then also he used to put, see, you think you're embarrassing me, but now I'm embarrassing you.
No.
So he used to pull these funny faces where he kind of put his chin back into his chest like this, and he'd go. So if you're watching on YouTube, he'd go like this. And he'd pull this weirdest smile with
That
his
wasn't the
chin
face.
in his chest. And it would actually embarrass me. I'd be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He would do it so frequently. The more times I tell him not to do it, the more time you do it.
Can you still do the face, Dara?
I can actually.
Yeah, let's.
But actually, Dara...
The face was this, and it was. That was the face. It's like muscle memory. I did it that much.
Cartia
if
and I
you-
have
No, we
actually
don't.
done silly photos like that, but we're not doing it today.
I'm so sorry if
Why
you're
not?
not joining us on YouTube. You're going to have to go back and check that out because that was well
That was
worth
great.
of you.
No,
Right.
I want to see Beck do that.
No, I can't do it anymore. I forget.
See, you're a professional at it.
I should get a bachelor in face making to be honest.
There's a new degree.
And so he would do this randomly everywhere. And, you know, particularly when you're in an environment where, you know, maybe you're in front of the boss and you want to impress somebody. I'd look over and there's my son pulling the goofiest face, dancing around on his own like a robot.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He's also, we were on holiday once in Hawaii. No, not Hawaii, Fiji. And, you know, they've got a dance floor kind of in the hotel. And everyone else is kind of doing these nice, just normal dance move. I look over and there's Dara doing the robot.
Nothing
Completely on his own.
I was dancing to my own beat.
And he was
That's
just
it.
kind of, he was in the zone, in his robot.
But I love that, Dara. I love that about you because you don't care what other people think.
Exactly.
You are you.
He just doesn't get embarrassed, so yeah.
That's right.
It's true.
You're carving your own path in the world.
It worked for you.
I embarrass myself to embarrass other people.
And it's fun,
Yeah.
isn't it? It doesn't matter how many times I tried to embarrass my kids. They always laughed.
Or we just join you.
So is this, is this the same question just for me, or is Bec
No,
going to ask
no,
the
I
same
don't know. I
question?
think we should move on.
Well, I don't actually have probably an embarrassing moment you don't know about, because I think you know about them all.
That's true.
But one of my favourite, talking about dancing, one of my favourite memories of Cartia is Tony and I were outside doing some gardening one day, and we could hear this singing coming from her bedroom, and she was singing at the top of her voice with her pretend microphone in her bedroom, and you could actually see her through her bedroom window doing this whole rock concert. It was awesome. And she'd also go out the back. We had this little deck thing that we were building a cubby house on, but at the time it was just a deck, so it was like an outdoor stage. And Cartia would dress up in everything sparkly. So she had this little sparkly skirt on. She'd have sparkly armbands, a sparkly hat, little sparkly top and everything. And she'd come out and she'd go, "I'm Resplection the ballerina," and then she'd do a whole concert for all the neighbours, because we're on a hill, so they could all see if they looked out their back windows. And she was quite the performer. Talking about performance,
Well, you both do both have an arts degree.
Well, that's true. They paid off.
very entertaining. Cartia was, still is. Never a dull moment.
Okay.
Okay. If you could trade places with your eldest child for a day, what aspect of our lives would you find most interesting?
Oh, that's a good question.
I can easily answer that.
Yeah, go.
No.
All the text messaging. I could get into your phone and read all your messages. Who is it that you're talking to all day?
Well, yeah, but if we're swapping bodies, I'm getting all the bank accounts.
Good point.
Finger identification, facial identification.
I've seen all those movies. You'd wreak havoc. We'd wreak havoc in each other's lives.
we would, when we change back, it would be in the new life.
But at least my bed would be made every morning.
That's true. My bed would be made.
Your
every
bed
morning.
would be made every morning.
Oh, so what would I find most interesting if I swapped? I reckon I'd like to see your life at work as a teacher and your interactions with everyone and how you play that out. Because I don't think I'd do it as well as you, though. So if I swap bodies with you, they'd be like, "Who are you?" Because you look like Cartia, but you haven't got that, bossiness. No. You're a good
do you
teacher.
kind of get this thing with your kids, right? When, say, for instance, they go and stay at someone else's house, and the people say, "Oh, they've got such great manners. They really take care of it. Like they really clear up after themselves." And you think, "Well, they don't do that at home." So then, when you think of them in other environments, because Dara's in a teaching environment, and I'm thinking, is he filling out all the paperwork correctly? Is he keeping his desk tidy and all those sorts of things that probably a mum would ask?
Yeah.
But they're generally fine, aren't they? But they're very different to perhaps how we would think
It's
they'd
very
be.
true, actually, because that it's what you're teaching them is getting through, but they just choose when to do it.
It's never in the home.
I'm not talking about you. I'm
No,
talking
thank
about
you.
the others. Yeah. You're always doing those things.
You were tidy though, weren't you? Yeah, you were the tidy one.
Yeah.
She's an organizer, aren't you, Kat?
Yeah. Which is perfect for teaching. So
Yeah.
She was actually a great eldest child because she was really good at organising the younger ones.
still am.
That's helpful.
So when I was busy, she'd be just bossing them all around, and they're still dealing with that, but it's all good.
So is your desk at work tidy, Dara?
No comment.
He doesn't want the same expectations at home.
Well, no, my teaching room at school is like this little tiny practice room that probably realistically could only fit a drum kit in there, but I have to try and fit like a marimba, a xylophone, also a drum kit still, and be able to sit down and take roll.
How do you even get a drum kit and a marimba in there?
It's tight, and so it's like so the room looks like a mess. I leave and it's clean.
Yeah.
Like I'll pack it up at the end, but at the start of the day, it looks like a bomb's gone off in there. But it's the only way it actually works is if it looks really messy.
So you have a tiny little stool in the corner where you can be?
So I have a little desk.
Yes.
And then literally if I turn around anywhere, it's an instrument. It's just, yeah.
But that'd be like heaven for you, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, it's
Just
cool.
being in amongst
It's cool.
instruments and music.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Dara, I remember a few years ago and you were learning piano in my piano room. It's probably
do
about
remember
as
that.
small as what you're...
Actually, the room that I teach in is smaller.
Smaller than... All
It's
right.
smaller than your piano room. So
My piano room's pretty much made up of all the drums and everything now, and I got this little squishy bit for my two pianos at the end. So yeah, maybe that part where the pianos are is about the same.
yeah, probably. It's probably about the same. Yeah. Okay, I've got a question. What was your biggest regret in life?
Do you want me to get deep now? I would say not having more children. And it's not that we didn't try to have more children, but there are other things we could have pursued in order to have more children. But we were busy being parents at the time.
I was a handful.
No, we moved, like you were 8, we moved from overseas. So we were getting settled in another country. And by the time really it was a good time to perhaps pursue those things, you were already about sort of 10, 11. It kind of felt like it was the wrong time. So we never really pushed that any further. And so I think we kind of just missed that slot where we could have perhaps been a bit more intentional about having more children. So that would be my one regret because, you were great. And let me say that again. Because, you've been great as an only child. Like it doesn't seem to have impacted you too much. But when we get old and we're dribbling and peeing our pants, you might not be appreciative that you're going to have to look after your parents on your own. So
Very
that's
good
probably one.
Yeah. Okay, what would be my biggest regret? I don't know if I have regrets because I'm glad that I had children early and had those years as a mum. But I think probably there's something I'd love to travel, and that's still coming. So if there's anything I've really wanted to do that I haven't done, it would definitely be travel. But I had children. Well, I had you when I was 21. So then I had 3 more children between the ages of 21 and 30. So basically the first half of my life has been made up of raising you guys, which there are no regrets in that at all. But something I will like to do is someday travel.
Yeah, to Italy.
Yes, Italy.
Just putting it out there.
All right. If you could go back to our age, what advice would you give your younger self?
Do you want me to go? Okay, I would say don't worry so much about all the little things. It'll all work out. And I think the less you stress, the easier it is. And I think the more you go through things, the more resilient you realize that you are. And the more... So, like, if you go through hard times when you're young, I would tend to panic more. Like, oh my gosh, like, this is a hard thing. Whereas the more you live your life and you go through a lot more hard things, you realize, you know what, I survived that the first time. I survived this, I survived that. And the more you survive, the more chill you are because you know that you're stronger than you think you are. So if I could go back to my younger self, I'd say you're stronger than you think you are and you're going to survive lots of things.
I think mine would be, and this is probably good advice for you, Dara, is don't settle for safe. Because it's easy to think, oh, well, this is my safe pathway. This is the time to take risks. This is the time to push the boundaries, to be prepared to fail, to do things that don't work out. And when you settle for something safe, I think there comes a point future in your life where you wished you'd take more risks, and perhaps it's not the right time. So before family come along, before you get really settled in your life, this is the opportunity to be prepared to fail, to aim for aim for the heights and don't settle. Yeah.
Okay.
What are you laughing at, Dave?
Just Dara's reaction. Angry Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I do. What's one quality in your child that you're surprised at?
Good question. Wouldn't say I'm surprised, but I'm proud. I'm proud of it, that you're a man of your word, and that when you say you'll do something or that you'll show up somewhere, that you do, and you're really reliable with that. I think music's done that for you, being a performer, and that you're really, really dependable. And so I love that about you. And there's so many qualities I could say, but that would be one for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I would have to say Grace, and it's not that I'm surprised that it's been developed in you because we gave you Grace as your middle name. But I think I am delighted with how it has been expressed in your life. So you're a fairly particular person. You like things done the right way. You have in your mind, this is how it should be. But when it hasn't turned out like that, I've seen you display great grace in those situations, and to love where once you might not have found that easy, you just stretch beyond what's natural and then show this beautiful grace. So I love watching that come out of you.
Can we say another one? Can we say more?
Yeah.
Yeah, because another thing that I love about you, Dara, and probably has taken me a bit by surprise, is how stable and consistent you are. There's no highs or lows with you, and I think that makes you kind of a peacemaker. So when other people are having a freak out, if I'm having a blowout about something, you're always that calming voice that comes in and say, okay, let's look at this rationally, Mum. Just, bring you down. And you have this real ability to be able to just be a consistent, even balance, and it helps other people, I think.
And a wise man, aren't you?
Should have a grey beard.
I also love Cartia's sassiness.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Wow, that's contrasting to Grace.
She comes out sometimes.
Cartia's got so much spunk. It's always cracked me up ever since she was little. And I remember this one time. Can I tell the story about the tree? Okay, it's in my book, so there's no reason why I can't tell it. It's already out there. But there was this one time Cartia was about, do you reckon you were 6 or 7? Maybe younger? Yeah. And you just had this big tantrum, didn't you? You came out, you're really cranky, fiery. She's a passionate one, this girl. And she was upset about something. I can't even remember what it was. And I'm like, oh, she's going to be in trouble. And I'm thinking, how's Tony going to deal with this one? And I'm like, should I step in? Anyway, I was about to step in and off to your room kind of thing. But Tony went, Cartia, stop. And you're like, I don't want to stop. And then he said, we're going for a walk. I don't want to go for a walk. And she folded her little arms and stomped her feet and screwed her nose up. And Tony's like, we're going for a walk. So they went for a walk together. And while they were out, it started raining and there was a thunderstorm. And I'm in the house thinking, oh no, she's out there. She's already cranky and now it's raining. She's going to come back even more miserable. Anyway, about a few minutes later, they come back completely drenched with an armful of mangoes and laughing their heads off. And it was just taking that time out together, wasn't it? And just spending time together and then getting caught in the storm and getting caught under a mango tree. And then they came back and it just totally broke the mood, which is really beautiful. Yeah. don't know why I said that, but it could do
'Cause
with
she's
your
sassy.
sassiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that story though.
She's a sassy lassie.
Yes.
But your sassiness also comes out in our fun, our silliness, doesn't it? And we're both as silly as each other when we get in the mood. So that can be really funny, can't it?
Yes, I've seen this sassiness during a good game of Mafia.
Oh,
So when we
like that best game ever.
It's pretty funny.
Yes. We get really into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. What's your favorite childhood toy?
So I wasn't really ever into dolls majorly, but there was one doll, and I don't know why her in particular. She had blonde hair and she had a little blue dress, and her name was Susie. And I just had got this attachment to Susie. I hated all other dolls except for Susie, and Susie came everywhere. She'd be in my bed at night. I'd put her, you know, when you make your bed, and she was like a scatter cushion. She'd sit on my bed waiting for me. You know, and I think I can't even remember whether I could feed her. You know, you used to get those little milk bottles that would go in their mouths.
Yeah.
But yeah, Susie, that's what I remember.
Go. I loved dolls too when I was growing up. But my favourite toy was actually a bunny, which I had from as far back as I can remember. It was probably a baby teddy that I had. But this bunny went through my childhood with me and ended up getting so worn that my mum had to restitch its clothes a dozen times, but Bunny was like my attachment. But then as I got a bit older, same thing with dolls, I would actually become like their mum, and I would have like a cot, I would feed them, a high chair, I'd feed them, I have the cot and they'd go to bed, I'd change their clothes, change their nappies. So I think I was definitely a mum from childhood and then grew up and had my own baby dolls. So
Isn't that funny, right? So you had lots of dolls,
yeah.
and you ended up with 4 kids.
Yeah.
I just had one doll that I liked. I didn't like any other doll. I just had one.
Wow.
Ended up with 1 kid.
There you go. If your parents had bought you more dolls, maybe
It's their fault.
you'd have siblings.
My one regret.
Darren had siblings if your parents bought you
It's
more
all right,
dolls.
blame your grandparents.
Honey.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging part of being a mum that you never expected?
I would have to say how much it hurts when your child hurts. So it's almost like you start feeling almost more for your child than you do for yourself. So when they hurt, the feeling that you feel when they hurt is extraordinary. Like it's like, oh, I just want to fix that for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I would absolutely 100% agree with that.
yeah.
But kind of just to give a different answer, I think it's being assured that you're doing the right thing by them. I think sometimes, particularly for us, you know, with only one, it's not like I have a second or third opportunity to get right what I didn't do right the first time round, you know. So I think you're always kind of questioning yourself, am I doing the right thing by him? And, you know, I think probably that it takes a while to work that out, particularly as a new parent. I think it can take some time.
Yeah.
Dara's smiling like you've got something to say about that. But
Say it, Darren.
No, I'm good.
Parenting definitely makes you grow up, because when before you're a parent, the world can kind of revolve around you and you've only got to look after yourself. But as soon as you become a parent, it really is about making that child survive and survive well. And there's a lot of responsibility on how that child turns out as to what things you're putting into their life from a very early age, because that's like the blank canvas. And so it's being very particular about painting the right things on that blank canvas from dot, and just creating the right atmosphere as a baby is just putting the right words into them, the right just experiences into their life. And
kids really are such a part of you, particularly as a mother. You know, I often look at Darren, you're like 6'4" or something like that, and I think, how did you even ever?
When I was a lot smaller back then.
Of course. Like, how are you ever in me? But you are always a part. I think you're always a part of the
Yes.
mother. And so, as Bec says, when you hurt, I think we hurt just as much,
Yeah.
if not more, in some respects, to the point that we'd actually, in lots of ways, as a parent, you would sacrifice your own well-being for the sake of your kids.
You would, yeah.
Um,
And that's why I think mums, without thinking about it, would jump in front of a car for them, or they give their lives for them, because a child is like a limb off your body.
Yeah.
And when that limb hurts, you hurt. It's attached. And it doesn't matter how old you get, you're always part of that person. Yeah. It's incredible, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think you appreciate it until you become a parent.
Yeah.
And then you realise, oh, that's how that feels.
You're
That's what that
forever
means.
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you expecting that answer?
It was a good answer.
Great answer.
What's something that you guys did in your 20s that you hope that we don't do in our 20s?
Rebel from your parents. I know. No, I wasn't really rebellious. But I did get married at 21. Now, obviously me and your dad have been married, 28 years coming up. So it's all worked out. But at 21, you're still really young. And I still think you've got a bit of life and a bit of experience to live. You might, I don't know, because you got married young as well, Bec.
Yeah.
And it's not one thing I say I wouldn't want you to do, because if it was totally the right time and the right person and that, then, go ahead and do it. But don't be rushed to do it, because, I think sometimes we can think, oh, if I'm not married by sort of 22, 23, then I'm going to be left on the shelf. That's not the case. Go and enjoy, live your life, learn, grow, discover who you are, and then you're actually more of a whole person to be partnered with somebody. So that would be the only thing, but I don't regret it at all,
I don't really regret anything in my 20s, because I was in full throttle mum mode. So I wasn't rebelling or anything. I was just keeping children alive, basically. So I don't know. I think like you've already, I probably would have got a degree early, but you've already done that. So I think we've kind of corrected that and encouraged our kids to get their degrees early. So I think, that would probably be the only thing.
All right, I have a question. When was your first kiss? Getting into the
now we're getting into it.
Yeah.
I'll let you take that one, Bec.
Okay, I remember it well. It was the year of 1993,
Wow.
maybe? Okay, I
long
don't
ago.
remember it that well. No, it was New Year's Eve, and we were at a New Year's Eve party in an apartment on the Gold Coast with a whole group of friends, and the countdown happened, and that was our first kiss.
Oh,
On the
I actually
balcony.
didn't know that.
Oh, really?
So you're on about your first kiss with Tony?
Yes.
Okay. So he was your first kiss, period?
Yes.
Oh.
For this podcast. Yeah.
No.
It was the first real kiss. There we go.
No, Bec, you can't leave it there.
That's a
Come on,
cop-out.
the whole point of this podcast is they're meant to ask us anything they want, and we got to be honest. I haven't given my answer yet.
First kiss. You go first. You tell us yours.
Okay, so I would have been maybe 14, possibly 15, and I was on a church youth camp, and I actually gone with a friend from school, her youth camp, so it wasn't even my youth. And I remember there was a guy called Steve there who quite liked, and we were only there for a week. And by the end of the week, we started getting friendly. By the end of the week, we found ourselves, and I don't know whether he kind of orchestrated this moment, where we found ourselves alone, sat on a bench. And that's when he leaned over and he kissed me, and I reciprocated. And I was like, got my first kiss. And then I thought, then I started critiquing myself. You know how you go away and you think, okay, I'll practice on my hand. Did I do it right? Was I any good? Marks out of 10. You know, such a novice back then.
However, at a youth camp, that's really scandalous.
Yeah.
And then the relationship lasted about a week, and that was about it.
The whole of youth camp.
Yeah, basically. Good old youth
Over and
camp.
done
Youth camps
with.
are great for first kisses.
So when was your first kiss?
Yes. No, hold on. We'll ask that question in a minute, but you're not getting out of this, Bec.
The
Come
first kiss I remember was Tony. There you go. That's the answer. Moving right along.
on. Okay, cough up. What about you then?
No, this isn't about us.
That's right. Us the mums.
Yeah.
Not us the
It's
kids.
not us. Next question.
We should have turned the times. Come on then, any more juicy questions like that?
If our family had a mascot, what animal do you think it should be and why?
A giraffe. Because we're all really tall. And really geeky looking. And it was Dara's favourite toy when he was a child. We had to go through so many different giraffes. So you always had to have a cuddly toy, and it was always called Jerry or Jeffrey. It always began with the letter J.
Yeah.
And he would actually make the fluffy toys bald because he'd pick the fluff off them, which interestingly I used to do.
Yeah, you did.
As a kid, I used to have this dressing gown and I used to pick the fluff. I had a red dressing gown. I don't know if you know this, Dara. I used to pick the fluff of that red dressing gown. I used to roll it into a ball in my hands and then stick it on my nose, between my nose and my top lip. And I'd kind of scrunch my nose and my top lip and I'd just rub it up and down my nose.
Is that where the hair thing came in when you were?
Yeah. So now my other habit now is I sniff my hair, but it comes from that.
Wow.
So then you
funny.
used to do that with your giraffes. So you used to pick them and they'd go bald. So we'd have to keep replacing your giraffes. So yeah, definitely a giraffe for us.
How funny. Oh, what would our mascot be?
I have an idea of one, but I want to see
Sheep?
if you. Okay, that was so not not what I was thinking.
I love our sheepies. What are you thinking?
I was thinking a lion.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
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 Well, you should expand on that. You can answer this question.
I was thinking a lion because, like, they're ferocious, but they can also be quite tame
Yeah.
if you treat them well. I don't know what that means for our family, but
No, we can be ferocious, but we're nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're majestic and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aslan.
I was going with bulldog
Exactly.
personally, but
Bulldog.
Oh, not my favourite, but
For us.
yeah, because they're short, but they're strong,
Feisty.
and feisty and sassy.
Yeah.
But they also have, like, you can have British bulldog, and there's this British side to you guys.
Yeah,
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you have a funny memory of Dara? Because I was just thinking of a funny thing Cartia used to do, and she used to collect things all the time, like sparkly things on the ground. And so this is when she was really little. So she would collect, like, if anything flickered, even if it was just like a little sequin or something, she'd dive down, pick it up. But there was one specific time when we first moved into our house at Kalenga, and I went into her room one day, and for some reason I was opening her drawer, and lo and behold, there's a stash of cigarette butts. and I was just like, oh. So I went and found Tony and I said, can you just come with me? You need to see what's in our daughter's drawer. She was 5. And so I brought him in. We burst out laughing because she's a collector. The person who lived in our house before we did was an avid smoker. And Cartia, I don't know whether it was Clean Up Australia Day or what, but she collected every cigarette butt and put it in her
Oh,
drawer.
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes, it was tiny.
And then you parents were about to check you into rehab.
Yeah.
What's going on with our 5-year-old?
Must have been a rough childhood.
Yeah.
The nicotine had to.
Yeah,
So
that
that
golden
got-
haze was actually the smoke.
She just can't remember anything. Started young.
All I can say is I'm terrified for when we have kids. Like, I don't know what they're going to be like. It's scary.
You guys are
I
gonna
do
be
have a
great.
favourite moment of Dara's childhood. That was a special moment between the two of us. And it was the day that we went to Wet and Wild.
Oh yeah.
We just, like Dara said to me, it was just kind of one of these random days. We hadn't planned it. And I just said, Dara, today I'm dedicating it to you. What do you want to do? Have you ever seen that movie, Yes Day?
Yeah.
Like where the kids get to decide and the
Yeah.
parents just have to do everything that the
Yeah.
kids ask.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave him that opportunity, and he said he would have been maybe 8 or 9. No, a bit older, maybe 10 or 11. And he just said, I want to go to Wet and Wild. And in my back of my mind, I was going, oh, it's the last place I want to go. It's on the Gold Coast. I got to get in my swimsuit. But we actually had the best day, and we just went on loads of rides, just the two of us. We put all our stuff in a locker, drove down to the Gold Coast, and it was actually a really great memory.
That would have been
a day
so
for us.
special.
It was. So,
Yeah.
remember it?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think to wrap this up, I think Dara and I should express what the gold is in our mums.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a flip.
Yes. So, Dara, would you like to
Can
go
you see
first?
any Dara? Throw it to
It's my-
Dara
it's
first.
my
Throw
turn.
you under a bus.
Well, I think my mum is a warrior,
Ooh.
and she fights for what she believes in. Um,
Make me emotional.
I also think she is a very caring person. She's always putting other people before herself. And then I would also say she's very observant of how other people are feeling, and just observant. She knows how to read a room really well, and knows exactly what to bring to a room.
Oh, Dara.
That's beautiful.
Wow, that took me by surprise.
Aw.
You ask what takes you by surprise by your kids, that. Thank you, Dara. That's really beautiful.
They also smell funny.
Feelings mutual.
The gold in my mum is that she is very loyal and compassionate, but she's very thoughtful and strong. So she's been through a lot in her life, but she's come out the other end very strong and very powerful. And she's such an inspiration to me and to anyone who talks to her, reads her books, just anyone who knows her. She's such an empowering person, and I'm like kind of choking up a little bit.
Aw.
Oh, beautiful.
I love my mum.
Aw, feelings
Yeah,
mutual.
yeah. But basically, if I could become anyone, I would love to become my mum, because she's got
Aw.
everything that I aspire to be. So.
Wow, you nailed
Aw.
that. Does she smell, though?
No. She smells like Christmas.
Oh,
That's nice.
how much did you pay her for that?
They rehearse this.
Yeah. It's because she's got girls.
Thank you.
Ouch.
No, you did amazing, Dara.
Back to you, Dara. No, kidding.
Oh, thank you so much, Carl. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So great to have you both here.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yes.
This is so fun.
And I hope you got out all the questions you wanted. I was actually quite impressed. You didn't dig too deep.
Yeah.
Although
was scared
I'm
to.
still going to ask Bec off camera who the first kiss is, because she did avoid the question.
I honestly can't remember. I can't remember.
Okay, Cartia, is she telling the truth?
Yes.
So that's it for today's podcast. You'll find us on all the major podcast platforms. The podcasts come out every Wednesday. We'd love to hear from you on our socials, the Gold Diggers Podcast. Tell us about your story so we can find the gold in you.
Easy as pie, lemon, apple or cherry. Loving you is so very Sweet, 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 how can it be such a piece of cake? And your smile is the icing, loving you is a party. Honey, you're my sugar.